Hannah Murray on TRE in the afternoon.
Good afternoon. Joining us on the line now is Joe Owen. He's an author and the only 4-time winning author of the Chartered Management Institute Gold Award. He's the founder of 8 NGOs, including Teach First. His book, Smart Thinking, shows us how to live, think and work even better. It's a review of the 50 most common thinking challenges everyone faces from day to day. Welcome to the show, Joe.
It's great to be with you.
It's great to have you with us. Thank you for joining us. I have to ask you, first of all, what it means, the Chartered Management Institute Gold Award, because you've won it 4 times, which sounds great, but what is it?
So, look, every year they do book awards. You know, the great awards season is upon us, and they try and pick out the best business books of the year. And 4 times they've chosen one of my books to be one of their best business books of the year. So that's I'm absolutely thrilled by that, and that encouraged me to keep on scribbling. And smart thinking is partly the result of that.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic! Congratulations. So let's talk about smart thinking then, and some of the issues that you talk about, some of the challenges that we face from day to day.
So look, smart thinking is really about how we navigate life successfully, which actually means that everyone who is listening to this is already a smart thinker, because by definition, you've already sort of more or less navigated life sort of fairly well to this point. And you say, well, that's kind of easy, isn't it? And actually, it isn't easy. It's really hard. And to show just how hard it is, we can use AI. Because AI, they've spent $100 billion on trying to get autonomous cars to work over 10 years. They can now just about handle the gridiron streets of Phoenix and San Francisco. And most humans do not need $100 billion and 10 years to learn how to navigate streets. That's a relatively trivial task compared to navigating life. So navigating life is genuinely hard. It shows we have actually outstanding brains. But the challenge of navigating life is arguably harder than it has ever been before. Because if you look back at our ancestors, they had much harder lives than us, much harder, but much simpler. Everyone knew their place. Everyone knew what to do. And there was a kind of order and a cycle to the years when you knew who was meant to do what, where, and when. Hard, but simple. Not a lot of thinking required. You certainly you weren't overwhelmed by information and choice. Now, we're totally overwhelmed by choice. We have far too much choice. We have far too much information and disinformation. And of course, we are now personally responsible for all our actions. We don't have to, there's a church telling us what to think and the government telling us what to do. So suddenly, the stakes are much higher, and the demands on us to be really smart thinkers is very high. The good news is we're already pretty smart thinkers. The bad news is that even the smartest thinkers amongst us, we all have facepalm moments where we just go, why did I say that? Why did I do that? I should have done something different. Oh, I've just thought about the answer I should have given 5 minutes ago, but that's too late. So smart thinking really is about how we are able to make those good choices in real time and under often a lot of ambiguity and pressure and uncertainty and all those kind of normal things that humans have to face.
Yeah. Do you think that some people kind of drift through life and seem to get a good deal with a lot of things, and other people feel like they're, and I'm talking in the Western world, have to really struggle and get faced with a lot of complications and difficulties and kind of think, oh, why is this happening to me constantly? Some people are, I don't know. I sort of feel like a lot of it is the way that we look at life and the way that we look at ourselves and our situation.
So you're quite right. A lot of people do drift and they don't make conscious choices. The choices just seem to happen to them. So one of the themes of this book is to say, look, be aware of the choices that you're making the whole time. Now, the good news is that our unconscious makes a lot of choices for us. We just have assumptions and habits that get us through the day because we'd be paralyzed by uncertainty and so on. Like, if you want to get on an escalator or get in a lift or go across a bridge, you don't demand to see all the engineering drawings and maintenance records. We assume bridges, escalators, and lifts are safe. And when they're not safe, that makes the headlines. But sometimes those assumptions kind of stump us. And we need to be conscious about those choices. And we have choices about everything. So, for instance, we have a choice about how we feel. Now, that was, when I first discovered that, was kind of revolutionary concept, because I just thought, well, feelings happen to you. But that's victim mentality.
Yeah.
Don't let victims happen to you. Choose your feelings. So and the theory was great. I discovered the practice when I was in a massive traffic jam, gridlock in Bangkok. And gridlock is wonderful because it's an equal opportunity irritation. It doesn't matter how important you are, which race, religion, ethnicity you are going nowhere fast. And yet, as I looked around, I saw everyone was reacting completely different ways. There was a businessman to my left who the red mist had descended, and he was pushing his car horn in anger, and that didn't work. There was a businesswoman off to the right in a van with a phone cradled in her shoulder, listening to it while typing away. She was oblivious to the whole situation. There was a couple in front who were also oblivious because they were canoodling in the back of the taxi. And there were some people in a bus looking down at the couple, all having a good laugh. Same situation, completely. People were choosing to react in different ways. And this is really helpful. So, for instance, I was born to be a pessimist because I was born in a wet part of the country, and I was told that if it's not raining, it's going to be raining soon. Okay, well, great. You'd end up being pessimistic. And that was true most of the time. So I've discovered that actually optimism, you can learn. You can learn optimism. Just start hunting the good stuff in life. It's a really simple exercise. At the end of the day, even right now, just try and remember write down 3 good things that have happened today. And I often do this in groups. I say, forget the whole day. Write down 3 good things that happened within the first 5 minutes of the day. And suddenly you discover all these good things, like hot and cold running water. I mean, I've spent 20 years working with tribes. I can tell you, when you're in the tribal world, hot and cold running water is like a miracle. Absolutely miracle. And when you wake up to 2 miracles in the first 2 minutes of the day, hot water and cold water running, it's hard to have a bad day. I mean, I succeed sometimes, but it's much harder, So all these things we can learn if we want to. Because it's about learning habits of mind. And like with all habits, we can acquire them, grow them, and so on. And again, that's what the book tries to just help people, kind of really simple, practical ways. What can you do? Like, how do you make decisions? Well, actually, it's not that difficult. We can spend a whole time ruminating, but you can massively expand your brain power. And I'll show you how. Tell you what, go and ask someone for help. Just talk about your problem with a friend, a colleague, a family member, and suddenly they'll give you ideas. And often just the simple act of talking, it sort of helps you figure out your own thinking as well. So all these things, we can make it very, very complicated. And we can talk about the 278 logical fallacies that Wikipedia unhelpfully lists out. And if you remember all of those, you're a smart aleck who will lose friends and alienate people at a very fast rate, because you don't want people who are just being smart and clever and telling you you're wrong. You want people you can relate to. Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's fascinating. I wonder, on such a big, complex subject, how you decided what to put in the book and what not to. Because you could have gone on forever, couldn't you, really?
Well, yes, and if you're not careful, I do go on forever. So you've actually hit the biggest smart thinking challenge of them all, which is, what on earth is smart thinking? Because it could mean absolutely anything. And I decided at a very, very early stage is, first of all, not about being as clever as Einstein, because that becomes a very short book. Be as clever as Einstein, which is totally unhelpful to the rest of the population. It's certainly not about being clever in the sense of having lots of degrees and letters after your name. I mean, that's nice if you've got it. Well done. Congratulations. But what you see time and again is that really smart people can do really stupid things and they're not even necessarily happy. So if you're kind of smart in terms of having degrees, but you're miserable and do stupid things, is that really smart? So that's where, actually, it's when I was working with some tribes on the edge of the Sahara, of course, I discovered what smart thinking was all about, because I was just gobsmacked that these people could survive in such harsh conditions. You've got to be really smart to survive in such harsh conditions, because you make a mistake, you're likely to die. Right? But they thought I was really smart because I had these trappings of affluence, like, a car and a vehicle and screens and stuff like that. So who was smarter? The people living in the really harsh conditions, or the person living in our world of affluent anxiety and ambiguity? And the answer, of course, is we're both smart, for the same reason that we've learned to navigate life in our own ways and find our ways through it. So all this is really doing is saying, look, first of all, congratulations to everyone. You're already a smart thinker. You've already navigated life pretty well. But actually, we all know that we could do a little bit better. And it's not rocket science. It is about being, I think you referred to it earlier, not drifting, making very conscious choices about everything and being aware that we have choices. We have choices about how we feel as well. So, I just try and help people think that through a little bit more.
Yeah. I think one of the worst or hardest things to feel is regret. The idea of regretting either doing something or I think potentially even worse, regretting not doing something. And the idea that it's too late to do it now. We don't live forever. We have limited years and maybe limited health to enable us to do certain things, limited money, all these kind of things that we need to do things, whatever they may be. Absolutely. And the idea of getting to an age and thinking, I wish I played football more when I was younger, or I wish I went to university, or I wish, these kind of things. If you want to do things, do them.
Go for it. So look, you've raised a brilliant point there. Okay, so negative emotions. In this world of social media, we're meant to ban negative emotions because they're bad. We're all meant to be happy. No, negative emotions are part of being human, and actually, all negative emotions serve a really helpful purpose. Like physical pain, mental pain is telling you something's wrong and you need to do something about it. So regret is a negative emotion and it's incredibly useful. And it's useful two ways, actually. One way is the prospect of regret is really useful. So, this evening, if you go out and, have a couple of bevies and the beer and the wine is flowing and all that sort of stuff, the prospect of regret the next morning is a really good sort of controlling mechanism. You go, well, do I really want the next pint? Well, maybe not. I've got to wake up in the morning. So the prospect of regret is good. And I think the way you put it, the prospect of long-term regret is a really powerful way of helping people think about what they want to do. Think about the unimaginable situation when you reach the age of 65 or 70, or whatever it is. What will you regret And there'll be some things that are kind of slightly boring you regret, like, not having looked after your health and not having any money and stuff. So that's a bit of an indication that you want to look after your health and wealth. But as you rightly say, you'll actually really regret the things you didn't do, the things the fun things you didn't do, the family events you missed, all those important things which you missed because you've got a terribly urgent meeting to go to or something like that. In years to come, you will forget what those urgent meetings were.
Yeah.
But you will remember bitterly, the fact that you missed, someone's birthday, or you didn't go on that holiday, or you didn't have that fun. So actually, oddly, regret is a call to go out and live life in Technicolor and with the record button on, because you've only got one shot at this, and go for it.
Yeah, I remember that just changing the way I thought about life when I was traveling in Australia. I was 20, and I suddenly thought to myself, instead of looking ahead in my life and thinking, okay, where do I want to be in 10 years and what do I want out of my life? And, thinking, gosh, that seems like such a big question. I don't know, there's so many, and maybe I do this, maybe I'll do this. I thought, I imagine myself being 80, looking back on my life and thinking, what do I want to see? What do I not want to see? And that perspective has made quite a difference for me. And I think about that often. And I think that's quite powerful.
So you've just given everyone a great exercise to do. So everyone go out, do that, think about what you want to look back on as a life well led when you're 70 or 80 or whatever it is. And there's another little test for you on this as well, which is now look back 7 years, 10 years, let's say 10 years. What do you remember about 2014? And if you don't remember anything about 2014, then what was the point of that year? Because you just got 1 year older and 1 year closer to death.
Yeah.
So now, how are you going to remember next year and the year after? Make it a good year. Make it a memorable year.
Yeah.
Do some, and it's not like you have to be doing super duper exciting things the whole time to, put onto Instagram or whatever, because that's really shallow. Do something that is meaningful and important to you that you'll be able to remember. And it could be about, taking up a new hobby, or it could be about, taking that life-changing trip, or it could be anything.
Yeah.
But what's going to be special? Because at the end of it, all you've got are all your memories. So, get great memories, get wonderful memories.
What a great note to end it on. Thank you, Joe. It was really lovely to chat with you. If listeners want to get a copy of your book, it's called Smart Thinking, How to Live, Think and Work Even Better. It's available to buy on our website, tre.radio, and it's by Joe Owen, who we've been chatting with today. Joe, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.